It all starts here, the campaign to equip the new Oakville Hospital. And believe it or not, it starts in a warehouse. It all started in 1937 when a 4-bed hospital was built at the corner of 8th Line and McDonald Road. From there, in 1944, a group of Oakville residents formed the Oakville-Trafalgar Hospital Association to raise the money needed to build a new hospital in the area so that critical patients wouldn't have to make the trip into Toronto. Over $100,000 was raised, but World War II put the construction on hold. An additional fundraising campaign was launched in 1948 to raise an additional $125,000, and by 1949, the new hospital was built on the present-day site and opened to the public on Valentine's Day 1950 with 50 beds, 13 doctors, and 13 nurses on staff. And then the chase to keep up with Oakville's booming population started. Just 2 years into operation, a 120-bed expansion was planned and opened in 1956. This new addition increased the capacity of the hospital from 58 beds to 170 beds. By the dawn of the 60s, another expansion was necessary, and in 1963, a new wing opened that increased the hospital's capacity to 333 beds and included a state-of-the-art intensive care unit, one of the first of its kind in Canada. By 1970, assessments were underway to determine the future healthcare needs in the hospital, known as the Master Plan. The plan involved 3 building phases, but only the first stage of the plan was completed due to a funding shortfall. Fast forward through the only evacuation of the hospital due to the Mississauga train derailment in 1979, the birth of North America's first test tube twins in 1982, the opening of the CAT scanner suite in 1986 after months of planning and fundraising, and we get to the 50th anniversary of community healthcare at OTMH in 2000. After continued expansion and growth on the current campus, the Government of Ontario announced in 2005 that a new hospital would be built in Oakville, and with this announcement, the long road to the new hospital began.
So you're probably asking, well, where are we? We are in a industrial warehouse facility that's located in Oakville, and it's really just a big empty space. And in it, we've created 3 of our most replicated clinical environments for the new hospital. So behind me over my shoulder, I think you can see a post-anesthetic recovery room where people would be recovered after an operation. And in addition, we have a standard single-patient inpatient room, and we have a nursing sub-communication center mocked up. So people ask, well, why do you do that? Why do you do mock-ups? So as I said, these are the most replicated rooms that we are going to have in the hospital. We will have a number of single patient inpatient rooms that are going to be built over and over and over again, replicated throughout the hospital. So we want to make sure we get that right, that we have a good design, that the interior makes sense, and that that kind of care we can provide in that room meets the expectations of the community, of patients and families, and meets the needs of our caregiving team as they go about that. And it's a very powerful tool between the hospital and the architects and the contractors to make sure that we are very carefully communicating our expectations for the environments that are going to be built into the new hospital.
One of the most important places for any patient at a hospital is the room that they stay in. And here at the mock-up, we do have a single patient room, and I'm here with Sylvia Rogers, who is a Chief Nursing Officer, to tell us a little bit about the new features in these rooms. Sylvia, tell me a little bit about the feature of this room, and we're going to start with the door, because I understand the door is unique.
Well, thanks for asking, Michelle. What's really great about this door is how wide it is. So in building this mock-up, we thought about everything that we needed to think about for efficiency of the workflow, but also comfort of our patients. So what's great about this door is the width. We can easily transport a patient in their bed through the doorway, and also that the doorway doesn't open directly into the hallway. In our current hospital setup, all the patient rooms open into the hallway, and every time you exit a room, you run the risk of getting
into the flow of traffic and that kind of thing.
A big cart coming at you, stretcher, wheelchair.
And the doors open into the room, so that's really quite helpful. And that was actually one of the first things I noticed was how wide
the doors are.
So when you come into the room, there's a lot of little features hidden in the room that are really unique. Tell me a little bit about some of them, or where should we start?
Well, where we should probably start with is at the entrance to the room, because the first thing you see is the hand hygiene station here. So we have both a hand hygiene sink for staff and visitors to wash with soap and water. Also hand sanitizer. Hand hygiene is our #1 safety priority right now. So we want people washing their hands when they enter the room. We want them washing their hands when they exit the room. We want the patient to be able to visualize this so that they can see that our caregivers and visitors are washing. And we have gloves here for easy access. So that's the first thing, most important thing. We've even tested this sink out. We've had it attached to water. We've made sure there's no splashing on the floor.
I was noticing that it was quite deep, and that's to prevent splashing and slips and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Let's say I'm coming to visit someone, and I wash my hands. I come in here, and my friend or family member is here. What would be unique about their stay here?
Well, what we've tried to do in creating these single patient rooms is keep the comfort of the patient and the family in mind, but also the efficiency of our healthcare workers. So it is a very spacious room compared to our current setup. There's privacy, obviously. We have a privacy curtain for patients who want the door open but still don't want to be visible from the hall. And what's unique about this space is we have a dedicated space for the family. And we currently in our hospital setup have challenges with families who want to stay overnight and their loved one is in a semi-private room or a ward room with 3 other patients. There is no good space for them to sleep overnight. They often end up sleeping in a chair, sitting upright. Here we have we have a space for the family, but also the ability to pull this out into a full-size single bed. The foam mattress flips out, the pillow comes off. It's a comfortable space for family. We really wanted to create a comfortable environment for our patients. What's unique about this room is the size of the windows. In our original mock-ups, these windows weren't so big, and we worked hard to get a window that was cut out down to almost the floor, so that when the patient is sitting in their bed, they can actually enjoy the view from their window and see right down to the landscaped grounds, which is orienting. Rather than just seeing clouds, you can actually see some activity
people coming
down
and going
below.
And that sort of thing.
And really enjoy the beautiful views that we are going to see from our new patient care tower.
Is there anything unique about the bed?
I'll tell you what's unique about this is that there's space around the bed. So for caregivers who want to approach and examine a patient, they can approach from this side of the bed, they can approach from that side of the bed. In our current 2-bed rooms, the curtains are very close. The 2 beds in the room are very close together. There's no privacy for patients. We call them privacy curtains, but they're a thin curtain.
Right.
And
I can even see, like, if I was a family member and you would come in to tend to a patient, like, there's still so much room between us that I wouldn't feel necessarily that I was getting in your way.
That's right, and that's why the family have their own space here.
Their own little corner.
And they're put there, so they're not in the way of the caregivers. Absolutely, we'd like to involve them in care where we can, but they don't need to feel like they need to get up and move and get out of the way anytime that there's going to be an interaction in the room.
So my first impression of this washroom is it's kind of big. It's very big, actually. Nothing that I would have expected to see a washroom this big in a hospital room.
Well, it's quite spacious, but we wanted this bathroom to be accessible to patients who are in wheelchairs or using assistive devices like walkers. So we have, again, a wide entrance and lots of space. So we made sure there's good ability to turn and position wheelchairs. And also for features like the toilet, we wanted to make sure it was set out from the wall enough that you could actually have 2 caregivers assisting someone onto or off of the toilet. So that's why the bathroom is spacious. It is accessible for people who have who need to use mobility devices.
And there's an open shower in here as well, and that's a new thing that I think you're looking forward to.
Yeah, well, in our current environment, we're lucky if we have only like 1 or 2 showers in a whole patient care unit. So to have a shower for each patient is pretty exciting. And it has, our shower in this bathroom, there's lots of safety features built in. So there's no lip around the shower, there's nothing to trip over. The floor gently slopes to the drain, so someone can have a shower. There's no trip hazards. We can shower people in a chair, or we can move the shower head up to the wall and people can stand and have a shower in the way that we do at home.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this. What is this?
Well, this is a very exciting new feature for us. It is the bedpan sanitizer. So it is a single touch device. Oh. We can put a soiled bedpan into here. We press the button, it closes, it washes, flushes, and sanitizes the bedpan.
And that must be a big, huge thing.
It means not carrying the pan down the hall into a traditional soiled utility room.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is really exciting for us.
And this is in every single bathroom in every single room?
That's right. In every patient room, bathroom will have a bedpan sanitizer.
What are you looking forward to most in the new hospital?
Oh, well, there's so many things. I think that we will be able to provide a more comfortable experience for our patients, and that our staff will have such a wonderful place to work in. There's just so many features that are improvements and enhancements over our current state that each one has its own little bit of excitement, but yeah.
And the best part is you had a lot of say in what elements were put in the room or maybe not put in the room, so that it's made it easier for you and your staff.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is the entire team at Halton Healthcare Services has been engaged in designing this new hospital, and the amount of input from the entire health professional team into the design and layout of this room has been phenomenal. I hope there's nothing we've missed, but it is pretty exciting, and it is the end result is pretty much based on the input of everybody who's been involved in the project.
Sylvia, thank you so much for giving us a tour of this room. It's a really interesting thing to see what's going to be coming in the new hospital.
Well, I'm glad to have had the opportunity. Thanks, Michelle.
The foundation is raising funds for the equipment needed in the hospital, including the equipment in the single patient room, which totals over $25,000. Purchased with funds coming from the community and one of the most recent and the most popular events, the annual Tour de Halton, which gives cyclists the chance to get on their bikes and take a tour of the region while raising money to equip the hospital. The 2012 Tour de Halton took place on September 22nd and brought cyclists together from around the region. Starting in North Oakville, the cyclists took their bikes through picturesque North Halton on 25, 50, and 100-kilometer routes. One of the event organizers, Bonnie Flemington, explains why fundraising events are so important for the new hospital.
Well, this event is for our community. It's for our new Oakville Hospital. A new hospital doesn't get built very often in a community, so this is a one-in-a-lifetime event for many of these people. And as we know, the government doesn't provide any funding for the equipment of the hospital, just the building. So in order for the nurses and doctors to provide great care for everyone in our community, we need to equip it satisfactorily. So this is, we raised $110,000 at last year's event, and we're hoping to do the same this year. And if we can do that for the next few years, then when the hospital opens, we'll have made a big difference.
Why was a cycling tour chosen as a fundraising choice for the hospital?
Well, cycling is it's an active, healthy sport. It's something that's becoming more and more popular with many people, and our community didn't have a cycling event, so my husband Jeff and I thought, as part of the Principal Gifts Committee for the Oakville Hospital Foundation, we thought, well, this might be a great addition.
Finley Flemington was one of the younger riders out on the tour, and before starting on the 50-kilometer route, he shared his feelings on why an event like the tour is important.
Because the hospital is, taking care of us, and, we got to give back and, help people who work there and, get it built, because, most people don't know that the province will build the building, but, we got to put the equipment in. So get that equipment in there and to, just give back is, the main focus for me anyway.
After the race, Christine Hardy, one of the organizers who went out on the 25-kilometer route of the tour, reflected on the success of the event and how it will help the foundation reach its fundraising goals.
We got a total. It's an estimate still. We're looking at about $80,000, so that's a net. So we're happy with that. It's short of our goal, but our goal next year will probably just to get more buzz around it. We're going to look at the date and possibly see if we have some conflicts with the date. It's a busy time of year, so it's all about getting more riders, and with the riders come more fundraising. So that's what we're going to look at.
To find out more about the next Tour de Halton, check out the website at www.tourdehalton.com. Back at the mock-up warehouse, some of the equipment that will be purchased with the funds is on display for staff members.
One of the other rooms here in the mock-up is the post-anesthesia care unit, and I'm here with Chief of Staff Dr. Lauren Martin. Lauren, tell me a little bit about why this new hospital is going to benefit Oakville.
Well, Michelle, it's going to be a brand new hospital. We're going to have all 80% private rooms in the hospital, which is going to help with infection control and privacy and dignity of our patients, and also support family members being able to be in the room, share care, and support the patients when they're in the hospital. It's going to have brand new emergency department, outpatient departments. All these units are going to be bigger. They're going to also support privacy of patients and just a more comfortable care environment, and we'll have more inpatient beds. So the hospital is going to be larger as well. So that means we won't have as many patients crowding in the emergency department. We're going to be able to improve our wait times in the emergency department. So just a huge number of enhancements for the community.
One of the things we hear a lot about is that the way that care is delivered to the patients is changing. How is the new hospital going to benefit that?
Well, for example, in the emergency department, the old model of care was everybody came in and kind of lined up in the order of registering in the department, and they were seen in that order. The more modern model of emergency department care is there are a number of different streams of patient care within that one unit. So the new department is designed to facilitate that. So our higher acuity patients, the ones that are most sick, will go to one area of the department. The very, very low acuity patients, what we call the walking wounded, will go to another area of the department. In each area, the patients don't have to wait for the patients in all the other areas to be seen.
One of the things I talked about earlier with Sylvia, who is the Chief Nursing Officer, she talked about how involved the nurses were in getting a lot of the designs in the different rooms. How have the physicians been involved in that?
Well, we've been at this for about 15 years, so we've had tremendous opportunity to participate in the design right from the earliest stages, which we call functional program planning, where we kind of scope out the size of the service and what services we're trying to deliver, right down to, in the last months, the detailed design of each room, right to where the sinks are, where the stretcher is going to sit, and exactly what equipment is going to be in the room. So it's been a tremendous thing. The physicians have had that full opportunity to participate in the design of the hospital.
There's a lot of equipment that goes into a hospital, and of course that's what this fundraiser or this initiative is all about. What kind of equipment are we talking about when we talk about that there's thousands of pieces that need to be purchased for a hospital?
Well, it's everything from the stretchers in the rooms right to the big diagnostic pieces of equipment, which include CAT scans and MRs and what we call interventional radiology tables, which are diagnostic imaging pieces of equipment where you can actually perform what used to be surgical procedures, to outfitting the operating rooms, to all the laboratory equipment, the blood pressure monitors. It goes on and on. We actually are going to be purchasing over 30,000 pieces of medical equipment for this new hospital.
And that's one of the reasons why this campaign is so important. Why do you think it's important for the community to get involved?
Well, the most straightforward reason is that the government does not provide funding for the purchase of clinical equipment. This is something that is the responsibility of the local community. So we really rely on the support of our community to be able to buy this state-of-the-art equipment and to outfit this brand new hospital with all this brand new state-of-the-art equipment. So the support of the community is absolutely critical, and I have to tell you, it's been absolutely fantastic to this point.
Construction on the new hospital officially kicked off with a groundbreaking ceremony on September 22, 2011. By May of 2012, cranes were being installed on the site, and the first concrete for the building foundations was poured in June. Construction will go year-round until the expected completion date in 2015.
After spending some time in the mock-up rooms, we thought it would be a good idea to come down to the construction site. I'm here with Senior Project Manager Jeff McKay. Jeff, tell me a little bit about your role here with the building of the hospital.
So how Ellis Don does it, we do this, it's truly a team effort here. So there's myself and Peter Hubrick, my general superintendent, and the two of us are sort of charged with bringing this project to fruition. Obviously, on a project of this nature, there's a huge bunch of individuals that help us out, and our team members are, there's lots of us back in here to help us out. But my function is basically from the commercial standpoint of the construction project. So all of the tendering, letting of contracts, negotiating contracts, all the financial side of the project is my responsibility. And then Peter, his responsibility is to work on site. So the two of us work together very, very closely to bring the project in on time and on budget.
You're building a campus here versus building one building. How is that different? Like, what's the difference between building a bunch of buildings or a big complex versus building, say, one office tower?
Right. So this is a greenfield site. As this is a triple P, and also a DBF.
And what's triple P?
Triple P is a private-public partnership.
Okay.
So, and it's a DBFM, which is a design, build, finance, maintain project. So we're responsible for all the design, all the financing, all the construction, and then we actually maintain the hospital after that. So we have a stake in the hospital. Unlike a regular development where we work downtown, we build an office building, we're finished.
So there's a lot going on this campus. Like, there's not just like, you're not just working in one part of it, you're working in a bunch of different parts. How many people are here on an average day?
So right now we have about 400 workers on site, and then the trailer complex that you've seen earlier, there'd be about 100 office staff. Ellis Don ourselves, we have about 35 people on site, and we have our consultants here. Then each one of the mechanical, electrical contractors have their own offices set up here as well. So currently there's about 500 people total on site. Once the project gets a little bit further along, we'll be up to a maximum of about 1,200 men on site every day.
And that's including, like, for example, we're standing on what's going to be third line.
Correct.
And so that'll be involving people who are working on this, who are working on that. You said there was a tunnel going, there's a tunnel going underneath.
Yeah, so not only are we building the hospital, we're actually building an extension for the new third line, which will go all the way up to the future Burnham-Thorpe Road. We're also building a new road over here at Western Road, which will go from Dundas all the way up to the new Burnham-Thorpe. And then underneath here, we're working with the region, and we're actually doing a very large sanitary line that runs, it's about 45 feet deep. It's about an 8-foot diameter pipe that runs all the way up this new third line and will connect up to Burnham-Thorpe as well.
So you guys are basically it's almost like a little city for you guys.
It's a very busy spot. Yes, we're working in all kinds of areas as opposed to just there that you see. We're also doing a diversion channel up at the top. So,
what kind of challenges do you guys face in this kind of construction? Because hospitals are a very specific kind of construction. Do you guys facing any unique challenges?
Hospitals are always unique in and of themselves. They're a very complicated project to build. This is a little more complicated in that we are doing roads. We are the developer here as well. So we are, as I said, we're doing the roads, the sewers, all the site servicing. It can be a bit challenging. It's just to get all through the permitting stages and to do all of that and the design and complete that and work with the hospital. It's just, and the sheer size of it. It's 1.5 million square feet of hospital. There's a 400,000 square foot 6-story parking garage. There's parking for 1,800 cars outside. It's a big project.
What's the timeline like for you guys? Like, obviously there's quite a bit done now, but what's the timeline going forward?
So substantial completion for us is July 31st of 2015. We actually started pouring our first bit of concrete on site on May 15th of this year. So the construction itself is about a 3-year, 36-month process, but we also, as I said, do the design and do all that ahead of time. So really it's about 50 months from the time we're awarded the contracts to the time the hospital takes possession in July of 2015.
The landscape on the new hospital site changes daily as the towers rise from the ground and other aspects of the new campus begin to take shape. Up on the 3rd floor of the new hospital, President John Oliver envisions how the hospital will look when it's open to the public in 2015.
We are on right now a connecting bridge between the 3rd floor. On this wing we'll have Mat Child unit, and over here is the inpatient medical surgery unit, and this is a connecting corridor. So when you're coming up on elevators and things in the future, this is where we're standing, on that sort of a service corridor with public elevators, so we're not coming into it.
So as we've been walking through the site today, there's a lot going on here.
Yes, it's a great project. So we're on a 50-acre site, so it really is a big campus. And we're building almost 1,600,000 square feet for the hospital. We'll have about 457 beds in it when we open, and lots of great services, and lots of room for the community. That's the most important thing for us, because we're so out of room now down at the old OTMH. This will give us room for the future for the community of Oakville.
Now, work doesn't stop here. We're hearing work going on all the time that we've been here. And we were in the mock-ups and we were learning a little bit about what the hospital will look like after it's constructed. What exactly could someone look forward to, like when they're in this corridor or when they're walking down one of the corridors in the hospital when it's finished? Because obviously now when we're walking through it, we're walking through open beams and that kind of thing. So it's going to be completely
construction.
different.
Yeah. So our goal is to have an environment that makes people feel at home and welcomed and at peace. Hospitals are very stressful places. So you want the physical built environment to be calming and relaxing. So that's when they're here, it should be a very quiet, lovely, peaceful moment. They'll have views out windows where behind me you can see the lake. Still should have lake views out these windows. There's a big courtyard down there that's going to bring light into some of the interior parts of the hospital. So lots of daylight spilling in, just like we have today, but with proper windows and fixtures on it. Yeah.
What's the timeline that we're looking for? Like now we're on the 3rd floor, and obviously there's a lot more to go. What's the timeline we're looking for?
So there's 2 big dates. In the summer of 2015, we will arrive at substantial completion. So if you're a homeowner, substantial completion is when the builder says the house is yours, you get the keys, you now own it. But then you have to move in and get all your stuff in. So for us, that's about a 4-month move-in. It's not a weekend, it's about 4 months. So substantial completion, summer 2015, and we will be providing patient care by about December 2015.
While this construction is going on, what do you guys
So we are moving from a building of 400,000 square feet to a building of 1,600,000 square feet. Virtually every patient care system changes, the layout of our nursing units change. So we've already initiated the work done to transition our staff to be ready for startup in this building. We don't want to we want people coming in here on the first day wondering where to park their car, let alone how to find their workstation and how to care for patients. So we're starting almost 3 years in advance with really detailed, comprehensive plans so that opening day goes without a hitch, and if we can get opening day delivered perfectly for our community and for our patients and families, day 2 will be easier, day 3 will be easier than that, and then we're off and running. So enormous amount of work right now on understanding every single part of the hospital, how we will operationalize it, what the policies and procedures are, how staff will work in it, how patients will find it and leave it and come and go in it. All that is going on right now.
What are you most looking forward to when the new hospital opens?
Well, cutting the ribbon would be really nice, because then a lot of the work's behind us. We're then into the building. So I think we're all really looking forward to that opening day and having that completed. But besides that, I think it's being able to offer the community, which has been an incredibly generous, supportive community of this hospital for generations, to offer them a state-of-the-art, patient-centered environment that has absolutely leading-edge technology in it and meets the needs of the community and in all ways. Not just that we're here as we get bigger, but we are serving the spiritual needs, the emotional needs, all of the needs that people have when they present at the hospital. And that's our opportunity here to get that right.